morning, everybody. Happy Tuesday morning. I hope everybody is having a fabulous week so far. And thank you for letting me know that that moon is called the harvest moon. I would never have known that. We have a lot to cover in this video, so let's just jump right in there and get there, shall we? Let's go. We are starting today with Princess Anne, who went to Southport because they are rededicating, or they were rededicating the town's war memorial. I hope I can say this in one breath. She went in the capacity of president of the women's section of the Royal British Legion. She was there on Friday the 29th. Now, before the rededication, there was a parade that was done by the band of the Royal Air Force College, and it was made up of armed forces personnel and veterans from all three services. So they left Victoria Park, they went to the memorial in London Square on Lord Street. The Archbishop of Liverpool conducted or directed the rededication, and of course civil dignitaries and leaders, of course, were all there as well. I just love Anne. She's such a hard worker. Now, the last time they did anything with this war memorial was when it was unveiled back in 1923 by the Earl of Derby, along with children from fallen World War I soldiers. Interesting. Now, there were huge crowds. Of course, Princess Anne draws a crowd. She always did. Now, of course, veterans from all three services were also involved in this parade, and a combined cadet force from Merchant Taylor School and contingents from all 28 schools in Southport were also involved. So, of course, Anne, when she was done, went around talking to each of them as well. Now, I could be wrong when I say this, but I happen to think that children in the UK are much better, well-mannered, or, whatever. Like I said, I could be wrong, but the reason I'm saying that is that these kids lined up to meet Princess Anne. And there's a short little video here I'm going to show you. As she's walking down this line of children, one of the children actually looks up at her and says, "You look lovely today." Like, what little kid like that looks up at Princess Anne or somebody, you know what I'm saying, and goes, "Wow, you look lovely today." She did look lovely, but I wouldn't have expected that to come out of a kid's mouth. That's just my personal opinion. Anyway, I was glad to see her out and about, and glad to see them moving on. And let's move on now. Next up, we have the Duchess of Gloucester, who opened officially the Treasures of Gold and Silver Wire at the Guildhall Art Gallery. She apparently is an honorary liveryman. Now, there's over 200 items made from gold and silver wire that came from the arts, military, civil sources. Some were worn during the coronation, but a lot of these items actually personally belong to the Duke and Duchess of Gloucester, and they put them in. I think that's very nice. All right, this article is really just ridiculous, but I'm going to touch on it anyway. And it's all about how Harry wanted to stay at the castle, and Harry's father said no, because there's no rooms available. And Charles said, "Listen, Harry, why don't you fly down to Balmoral and see the family?" And Harry turned him down. And supposedly all of this was leaked by Buckingham Palace. I don't believe so. They're not going to give him a place to stay. Even though articles are coming out like this, Charles will do the right thing. He'll grant Harry a place to stay in the UK. They'll give him rooms at Kensington Palace or Windsor Palace. No, they won't. And they won't for several reasons. Number one, again, he's attacked the family. The family don't want him anywhere where he could be taping. Listen, they've already told him, or the Queen told him, Platinum Jubilee, not to bring photographers onto palace property. They did it anyway. They've already shown that they're not going to follow the rules. So Charles could say, "Oh yeah, you can stay, but no taping." And guess what? They're going to tape anyway, because that's what Harry does. It's no different than when they told him he could go visit the vault to go visit while, Windsor Castle was closed to people. And yet he had somebody come and take a picture before Windsor Castle was even open and leak it. Exact same thing, guys. All right, we're moving on now to Prince William. This is very interesting. Prince William, they're saying, may be wanting to host a charity run in the United States because he submitted a trademark request that mentioned printed race numbers, clothing, footwear, and headgear. That's what the article is saying. So I think that would be interesting. We know that William is an avid jogger. We know he went jogging in Central Park while he was here. Wouldn't you know it? Nobody even recognized him. Very interesting. Anyway, on May 12th is when the application went to the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office to trademark the Royal Foundation of the Prince and Princess of Wales. The address on it is listed as Kensington Palace, London. And according to the Mail, this is what it says. They're looking for, quote, printed matter, banners, and posters in relation to charitable activities in the field of mental health, printed race card numbers, clothing, footwear, and headwear. So a lawyer who apparently, according to the article, is familiar with these applications, say it's unusual to explicitly list printed race numbers when you put in a request, and normally the language is very broad and all-encompassing, so it has to be some sort of a race that they're going to do in the United States, or else it wouldn't be so, pinpoint on. All right, let's move on to Sophie. I showed you the other day that she was at the Shetland Pony Grand National. She saw the plowing contest, and she met, excuse me, that 90-year-old woman that was, a volunteer that had made all that money. Well, while she was there, some more pictures came out of her greeting some of the ponies. And apparently after she got done doing that, then she ran a arts and crafts section or session for some children. You know how I am, you guys. When more pictures come out that show all the fabulous work that she does, I have to show them. That's just the way I am. But I find it interesting that the news is just now putting this out. And I gave this to you how many days ago? Typical. All right, moving on. Did you guys know that the royal family website was hacked by Russian hackers, and they were able to crash the website just days after King Charles condemned the invasion of Ukraine? The pro-Putin group claimed responsibility. The site was down for about 90 minutes, they're saying. A royal source said that they did not gain access, that it went down, the site went down because there was a denial of service attack for an hour and a half, but nothing was ever accessed. And of course, this happened right after King Charles got a standing ovation in Paris when he stated that Ukraine should prevail in the war. Now, we know that the royal family's website was taken down in November 2022 for several hours after an attack. And all of this is because the royal family are very vocal supporters of Ukraine. We know that the king hosted President Zelensky for talks at Buckingham Palace in February. Prince William visited Ukraine's border with Poland this year to thank the troops personally. Catherine paid homage to the Ukrainian people with her performance at Eurovision. The royals housed refugees who have left due to the war. I mean, we know what's going on. They're upset with the royal family, but the royal family is not going to stop supporting Ukraine. I don't know anybody who's not supporting Ukraine. All right, here we go. The whole run for the Senate with Meghan Markle. It was going on and on about she was going to run. We knew she wasn't going to run. She just wanted to be assigned the seat until the elections. But the news in the UK had something to say about this. Listen to this.
Markle, or Meghan Wales, or whatever we're meant to call her now, could be the next senator for California.
Yes, so the headline is, has veteran US politician's death opened door to Senator Meghan? The answer is almost certainly no, but her PR team have been getting to work trying to suggest that after the death of Dianne Feinstein, who was 90, she's the longest serving...
She's legendary, wasn't she?
Indeed, like a real sort of trailblazer, as people would say. She's the longest serving female senator, long time politician, and there's obviously this question because now the governor of California essentially has to select someone to fill the role until the next election, and Meghan's PR people seemingly have been quite busy suggesting that maybe she would be in the frame. It's no secret that she has political ambitions. This is something that's been talked about.
Misleading is her PR suggesting she's branded about in Hollywood. She's never been part of that Hollywood bubble. No. That's the reality. She's never been anywhere near Hollywood. I really cannot take the story seriously at all.
I don't know.
She has no constituency at all, as far as I can see. On the contrary, she managed to make herself very unpopular, including in America, where a lot of Americans still have an awful lot of respect for the British royal family. And I'll tell you, even Donald Trump has shown immense respect for the late Queen. She clearly made Her Majesty's last few years a misery, not least of all by coming up with unfounded accusations about racism. And I'm sorry to say, but I get the feeling that Meghan's only supporter is Prince Harry, but he's not even allowed a vote.
I mean, we all knew she'd have to give up her title. She clings to that title like a life raft. So 6 people came up as possible replacements. Remember, the governor said he had to pick somebody who wouldn't be running in the fall or it wouldn't be fair. And who did he pick? He picked his person, and the person he picked is, wait, drum roll, LaFonza Butler. No, he did not choose Meghan Markle. Now that makes you wonder, who puts out all that PR? Is it WME? Because they're also putting out that Oprah Winfrey could be running. I don't think WME is doing that. I got to be honest. I think Meghan Markle's putting this stuff out on her own. All right, moving on. All right, I had to just touch on this article. They're pointing out that Harry and Meghan have failed as humanitarians. Their overhyped popularity, which is not true. They took 14 flights in 7 days. They want to be taken seriously, it says, as global humanitarians, but they have failed to back up with any substantial work or substantial impact. Okay. She says, yeah, everybody deserves a holiday, but spending as much time poolside as at the games, in Meghan's case, is going to not bolster their credit at the UN. Good point. Moving on. Now, moving on, we know that Catherine came out recently. She had her hair in a bun and she had some bangs. That's not the first time that she's had her hair in a bun with bangs. But of course, Meghan's followers, the Sussex squad, went nutso and said, why do they always say nice things about Catherine and not about Meghan? Okay, so we're going to take a look at that really quickly. First of all, Meghan does copy Catherine on a lot of things. Here they are at the Earthshot Prize, but notice where Catherine's arm is. It's down around William's waist. She's being supportive. And then all of a sudden you have this picture. Meghan has her hand on Harry's back. She's directing him. It's not the same thing. Sorry, guys. Then you have this picture of Catherine, black and white, that came out again at the very first Earthshot Prize. And it wasn't long after that Meghan and Harry went to the Intrepid. Remember, they went to the American ship to give out American awards, and they asked the people to play God Save the Queen. And Meghan wore that too tight dress. And they tried to have the kind of dress moment that Catherine had at Earthshot and in her gold dress at the 007, but it just didn't work for them. It didn't come out well. So let's look at the buns that these two have worn. And the first thing I want to say for this picture that's about to come up is thank you to Queen Coco for this. But let's just look at the difference between the two of them and the way they do their hair. Okay, let's go. Now, for those of you who think that Catherine's always copying, here you go. This picture is Catherine Middleton, May of 2012. Then here she is, April of 2014. Here she is, 2015, at a royal film performance. Ooh, bangs. What do you know? And this is way before Meghan showed up. Here she is in 2016. Here she is in 2017. You guys get the drift? Here she is, 2018. Here's the problem, people. Everybody wants to think that nobody ever put their hair in a bun before Meghan Markle showed up. But here is the real difference. If you look at these buns that Catherine has her hair in, they're sleek. They're stylish. There's not hair sticking out everywhere. Okay, this particular one, there's a few wispies. But for the majority of it, her hair is well done, beautifully done. It's neat. It's combed, it's braided, it's twisted, it's whatever. Now let's look at Meghan. In all of these different places, different outfits, different events, her hair is messy. There's flyaways. It's hanging in her face. She constantly puts her hands up to her head to move the hair out of the way. Now, that's not to say she hasn't had a few good ones. This is an excellent one. I love her hair in this one. Well done, sleek, neat. Same with this one. Well done, sleek, neat. Looks great. This one, a little bit messy on the top. But the point is, You can't look at the two of them and go, well, that's not fair. Catherine gets good with her bun and Meghan doesn't. Well, that's because Meghan's hair is a mess. All right, we're going to finish with this. I found this on Twitter. Very interesting. Apparently, the Sussex squad have decided to start taking pictures of William and Catherine and photoshopping them in some sort of an effort to make them look miserable together. Nothing surprises me anymore. Picture on the left is the original. Picture on the right is the Photoshop. If you have to do that, then you know that something's wrong on the other side. All right, you guys, you know what to do. And if you donated to my coffee fund or through the thanks button, thank you so much.